Don't tell anybody, keep quiet. Confidentiality, it emphasizes the importance of keeping information private and not disclosing it to others. Trusted implies a reliance on the person being told to respect the secrecy and not spread the information. Sensitive information, the phrase often relates to delicate or sensitive matters that could have significant consequences if shared. Pressure, it may put pressure on the person being told to withhold information, potentially leading to ethical dilemmas. Context dependent, the significance of keeping quiet can vary depending on the situation, whether it's personal, legal, or professional. Confidentiality is a fundamental aspect of trust and integrity in both personal and professional relationships. It involves the careful handling of sensitive information, ensuring that such data is not disclosed to unauthorized individuals or entities. When someone requests confidentiality, they are expressing a need for discretion, relying on the listener's ability to safeguard the information shared. This could be personal secrets, business details, or any other form of privileged information. Upholding confidentiality means refraining from discussing the matter with others, whether directly or indirectly, and protecting the privacy of the person or organization involved. The concept of confidentiality can be seen in various fields, such as healthcare, law, and business. In these contexts, maintaining confidentiality is often a legal obligation. For example, doctors are required to keep patient information private under the principle of doctor-patient confidentiality. Similarly, lawyers must uphold attorney-client privilege, ensuring that no details of a case are revealed without explicit consent. Breaching confidentiality in these settings can have serious legal and professional consequences, damaging reputations and leading to mistrust. In everyday life, confidentiality also plays a significant role. When friends, family members, or colleagues confide in one another, there is an unspoken agreement that the information shared will not be spread to full. Failing to maintain this confidentiality can strain or even break relationships, as it undermines the trust that forms the basis of open and honest communication. The value of confidentiality lies in its ability to create a safe space for individuals to express themselves without fear of judgment or exposure. Whether in personal matters or professional dealings, confidentiality fosters an environment of respect where people feel secure in sharing information, knowing it will be protected. Trust is a foundational element in relationships, whether they are personal, professional, or societal. It forms the basis for cooperation, mutual respect, and a sense of security between individuals or groups. When trust exists, it allows people to believe in the reliability, integrity, and honesty of another party, giving them the confidence to share thoughts, ideas, and emotions without fear of betrayal. Trust is not easily granted. It often takes time to build through consistent actions that demonstrate a person's or organization's commitment to being reliable and keeping promises. In personal relationships, trust enables deeper connections. It encourages openness and vulnerability, allowing people to share their innermost feelings and thoughts. When two people trust each other, they feel safe in the relationship, confident that their partner, friend, or family member will support them, respect their boundaries, and protect their secrets. Trust creates a bond that can withstand challenges, as both parties feel secure knowing that they can depend on one another through difficult times. The absence of trust, on the other hand, can lead to suspicion, insecurity, and ultimately the breakdown of relationships. If one person feels that the other is not trustworthy, it can result in communication barriers, resentment, and emotional distance. In the professional world, trust is equally important. Whether between colleagues, leaders in their teams, or businesses and their clients, trust facilitates collaboration and productivity. Sensitive information refers to data that must be handled with the utmost care due to the potential harm, consequences, or risks that could arise if it is disclosed to unauthorized parties. This type of information can be personal, confidential, or classified, and it often requires special protection measures to ensure its integrity and privacy. Sensitive information might include personal identification details like social security numbers, bank account information, health records, intellectual property, trade secrets, and confidential communications. In many cases, the protection of sensitive information is governed by legal frameworks and regulations. For instance, in the healthcare sector, patient data is protected by laws such as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act (HIPAA) in the United States. Under this law, healthcare providers and institutions are required to take specific steps to ensure that medical records and other personal health information are not shared without consent. Similarly, in the financial industry, data related to banking and transactions is protected under various regulatory guidelines to prevent identity theft, fraud, or financial exploitation. In the corporate world, Businesses often deal with sensitive information that includes intellectual property, financial statements, proprietary algorithms, or strategic plans. If this information falls into the wrong hands, whether through hacking, leaks, or corporate espionage, it can cause severe damage to the organization. Competitors may exploit it to gain a market advantage, or clients and investors may lose trust in the company's ability to protect critical data. As a result, companies invest heavily in cybersecurity measures, encryption technologies, and employee training to safeguard their sensitive data. On an individual level, sensitive information is anything that a person considers private and does not want to be shared without their permission. This can range from personal relationships, private conversations, and financial status to political views or health conditions. The misuse or unauthorized sharing of this information can lead to embarrassment, emotional distress, or even legal consequences, depending on the nature of the information. Social media, for instance, has brought the issue of sensitive information to the forefront, as users must be cautious about what they share online, knowing that once something is posted, it may be difficult to completely erase it from the public domain. In the digital age, protecting sensitive information has become increasingly complex, given the vast amounts of data being collected, stored, and transferred. Data breaches, cyber attacks, and phishing scams are constant threats, making it essential for both individuals and organizations to adopt proactive measures to protect sensitive information. This might involve using strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, encryption, and secure methods of communication. Additionally, understanding the scope of what constitutes sensitive information is crucial. People may not always realize the value of the data they possess, inadvertently sharing details that could be exploited for malicious purposes. Pressure, in the context of social, personal, or professional environments, refers to the feeling of being compelled to act or make decisions in a way that aligns with external expectations, demands, or circumstances. It can manifest in various forms, whether from societal norms, peer influence, workplace demands, or personal expectations, and often leads to stress, anxiety, or a sense of being overwhelmed. When someone experiences pressure, it usually means they are facing a situation where there is a perceived or real consequence if they fail to meet the demands placed upon them. In personal relationships, pressure can come from family, friends, or partners who may have certain expectations about how one should behave or make life decisions. For example, societal pressure to conform to certain milestones such as marriage, having children, or achieving career success can weigh heavily on individuals, even if these choices don't align with their personal desires or timelines. This kind of pressure often leads to internal conflict, as the person may struggle between their own aspirations and the need to meet others' expectations. The fear of judgment or disappointment from loved ones can intensify the feeling of pressure, making it difficult to express true feelings or make independent decisions. In professional settings, pressure is a common experience, often driven by deadlines, performance goals, competition, or the need to succeed. Employees may feel pressured by their bosses or colleagues to meet high expectations, deliver results, or work long hours, sometimes at the expense of their mental and physical well-being. The pressure to excel in the workplace can create a highly stressful environment, leading to burnout, job dissatisfaction, and a decline in overall productivity. Moreover, the competitive nature of many industries adds to the pressure, as individuals may feel they must constantly prove their worth or risk falling behind in their careers. The fear of failure or being perceived as incapable can push individuals to overextend themselves, even when it negatively impacts their health. Peer pressure is another significant form of pressure, particularly among younger individuals or in social groups where conformity is highly valued. People may feel compelled to behave in a certain way, dress a certain way, or participate in activities they wouldn't normally engage in because of the influence of their peers. The desire to fit in, avoid rejection, or gain approval can be a powerful motivator, leading individuals to make choices that go against their values or better judgment. This form of pressure can be particularly challenging for adolescents, who are still developing their sense of identity and may find it difficult to resist the influence of their social circles. Context-dependent refers to the idea that the meaning, significance, or impact of a situation, behavior, or decision can change depending on the circumstances or environment in which it occurs. It recognizes that there is rarely a one-size-fits-all approach to interpreting actions, statements, or choices, as they must be understood in relation to the specific context in which they arise. This concept is crucial in various fields, including communication, ethics, psychology, and decision-making, because it emphasizes the importance of situational factors in shaping outcomes or interpretations. In communication, the meaning of words or phrases can be highly context-dependent. For instance, a phrase like "I'm fine" can have entirely different meanings depending on the tone, body language, and the situation in which it is spoken. In a casual conversation between friends, it might indicate that everything is indeed okay, but in a more serious or emotional situation, the same words could signal underlying frustration or distress. Without considering the context, the true meaning of the communication could be misunderstood. This shows how crucial it is to pay attention to situational cues, as the same words or behaviors can carry different implications in different settings.
In ethical decision-making, context-dependent considerations are vital because actions that might be considered ethical or unethical can change based on the circumstances.
For example, lying is generally viewed as wrong, but in certain situations, such as lying to protect someone from harm, this action might be considered not only acceptable but morally necessary. Similarly, in professional environments, a leader's decision may be judged differently based on the context in which it was made. A decision that seems harsh in one situation could be viewed as prudent or responsible in another, depending on factors like available resources, time constraints, or competing priorities. Thus, ethical judgments are often nuanced and cannot be made without taking into account the context in which actions occur. In psychology and behavioral sciences, the idea of context dependence is also key to understanding human behavior. People often behave differently based on where they are, who they are with, and the specific pressures or expectations of the moment. For example, someone may exhibit extroverted behaviors at a social event, but act more introverted and reserved in a professional meeting or unfamiliar setting. Similarly, stress or time pressure can significantly alter decision-making processes. Under pressure, people might make quicker, more instinctual decisions, while in a more relaxed context, they might take time to weigh their options more carefully. Without considering the context, one might mistakenly attribute certain behaviors to personality traits rather than recognizing them as responses to situational factors. In legal and societal norms, the principle of context dependence is also recognized, especially in the interpretation of laws or rules. For example, the legal consequences for an action like trespassing might differ depending on whether the person was knowingly breaking the law or if they accidentally wandered onto private property without malicious intent. Courts often take context into account when determining the severity of a punishment or the fairness of an outcome. Similarly, societal norms about what is acceptable or appropriate behavior can change dramatically based on context. For instance, behavior that might be seen as unprofessional in a formal work setting could be perfectly acceptable in a casual or social environment.